The scene was center court at Wimbledon. The crowd, a sea of passionate Filipinos waving flags alongside traditional British tennis fans, was holding its breath. Across the net stood Iga Swiatek, the defending champion, a six-time major winner at just 25, a player many consider the greatest clay court player of her generation and a force on any surface. Standing opposite her, with the calm demeanor of a seasoned veteran, was a 21-year-old from the Philippines who, until a year ago, was an unknown entity to the casual fan. When the final ball landed, and the scoreboard read 7-6, 6-2, a seismic shockwave rippled through the tennis world. Alex Eala had not just won, she had dismantled the defending champion on her own court. This was no fluke. It was a statement. A declaration of arrival from a player who has been quietly, meticulously building her game in the shadows of the sport's biggest names. The tennis establishment, the elites, the former champions, the coaches who study every frame of footage, they aren't just impressed, they're concerned. They see in Eala a perfect storm of talent, training, and tenacity, a player whose trajectory suggests she's not content to just be a giant killer, she's building a dynasty. This is a player who was trained by a legend, one who has beaten multiple Grand Slam champions, and who has an entire nation's hopes riding on her left shoulder. But the question lingers, is Alex Eala the real deal, or is she simply a star who shines brightest against the biggest names? The answer, as we will explore, is far more complex and compelling than a simple yes or no. To understand why Alex Eala is such a formidable prospect and why the tennis elite should be wary, one must start at the beginning of her journey. It is a story of a blueprint, a meticulous plan laid out not on a napkin, but at one of the most prestigious tennis academies in the world. Long before she was stunning Swiatek on center court, Eala was a precocious 13-year-old from the Philippines, a country more known for its boxing legends and basketball fervor than its tennis prodigies. But Alex Eala was different. Her talent was undeniable, but more importantly, her family and later, her coaches, understood that raw talent needs the right environment to flourish. This led her to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor, Mallorca, an institution founded by arguably the most tenacious competitor in tennis history. Her graduation in 2022 was a momentous occasion, but it was the journey after that truly began to shape her into the player we see today. The academy isn't just about teaching a player how to hit a forehand, it's about instilling a mindset, the relentless work ethic, the tactical intelligence, and the unwavering belief that defines Rafael Nadal's legacy. This is the Nadal blueprint that has been applied to Eala, and it is a foundational reason why she is now a threat to the game's elite. Consider the moment in late 2025 when Eala shared a court with the man himself for a training session. It was described as a dream come true. But for the tennis elites watching, it was a terrifying glimpse into the future. Here was a player, already on the rise, receiving personalized coaching from a 22-time Grand Slam champion. Training with Rafa is something people and kids can only dream of, Eala said, highlighting the technical advice he gave her, including tips on her forehand. This is not just an endorsement, it is a masterclass. It shows that Eala is not just a product of the academy, she is a pupil of the master himself, a direct student of the Nadal philosophy. This rigorous training environment has transformed her from a promising junior into a physically and mentally resilient professional. Her rise to a career-high ranking of world number 28 following Wimbledon is a testament to the consistency and effectiveness of this training. The elite know that players forged in this crucible don't just have a game plan. They have a relentless, tactical adaptability that is extremely difficult to break down. They see the Nadal blueprints etched into her play, her movement, and her composure under pressure, and they understand that this is not a competitor who will fade away. The academies of the world produce many players. The Rafa Nadal Academy is producing a potential champion in Alex Eala, and that is a frightening prospect for the current champions. If her training provides the how, then her results provide the why. Alex Eala has not just arrived on the scene, she has bulldozed her way through it, leaving a trail of stunned Grand Slam champions in her wake. The tennis elite are scared because they have seen a pattern emerge. When Eala steps onto a big court against a top-ranked, established player, her level seems to transcend her ranking. She doesn't just play to their level, she often surpasses it. This is the hallmark of a player with a killer instinct, a player whose star power at the moment may outweigh her career achievements, but whose potential is limitless. The 2025 Miami Open was the initial tremor, the warning shot felt around the tennis world. At just 19 years old and ranked outside the top 100, she received a wild card entry and proceeded to deliver one of the most stunning runs in recent memory. She knocked out Yelena Ostapenko, a former French Open champion, and then the powerful Madison Keys, a Grand Slam winner. But the coup de grace was a straight sets dismantling of the then world number 2, Iga Swiatek. This wasn't a lucky win, it was a statement of intent. As tennis analyst and Arena Plus data shows, Eala's betting support skyrocketed against elite opponents, proving that even the public recognizes her ability to rise to the occasion against the best. Eala herself dedicated the win to her younger self and all the girls with ruffled socks and chubby cheeks, but for her opponents, it was a chilling reminder that she possesses a unique brand of fearlessness. She is 2-1 in head-to-head against Swiatek, a statistic that will haunt the Polish star. The elite players see these results and know they are facing a player who has already proven she can beat them on the biggest stage. That is a psychological weapon more powerful than any ground stroke. However, the narrative of Alex Eala's rise is not one of unqualified perfection. To portray her as the finished product would be inaccurate and would actually diminish the real reason the tennis elite should be scared. They are not frightened by a perfect player, they are frightened by a player with profound strengths and a clear, identifiable roadmap for how to address her weaknesses. The reason for their concern lies in her capacity for growth, her ability to learn, adapt, and refine her game. As Martina Navratilova, a legend of the sport, pointedly stated, Eala needs to work on her serve. Greg Rusedski echoed this, stating, "The serve does need to become a weapon where she can get the first strike in after the serve." This is a devastatingly simple and fixable critique. If she adds 10 miles per hour to her first serve and develops a more reliable slice serve to the backhand of her right-handed opponents, she transforms from a great competitor into a truly dominant one. The elites can see this. They know that if she finds that weapon, their chances of beating her shrink dramatically. The loss to Jasmine Paolini in the 4th round of Wimbledon provides the perfect tactical lesson. Paolini, a highly intelligent player, studied Eala's game and systematically exposed her weaknesses. She targeted Eala's forehand, knowing that Eala's lefty patterns could be neutralized on grass, and she took advantage of Eala's serve, winning a dominant near 80% of points on her own second serve. It was a tactical masterclass that turned Eala's own strengths against her. The pressure is now on Eala to adapt, to evolve, and to solve this new problem. As one analysis put it, she didn't leave Wimbledon with a trophy, she left with a blueprint for how to get better. This ability to learn and improve is what separates good players from great ones. Navratilova also noted that Eala was not using her leftiness to her advantage as much as she could, a clear tactical adjustment that can be made. Eala is still young, still learning, and is being coached by one of the best. The elites are scared because they can see the future. They can see a player who already possesses the mental fortitude, the ground strokes, the return of serve, and the counterpunching ability to beat them now, who is only going to get stronger, smarter, and more dangerous as she fills in the gaps in her game. The fact that they know exactly what she needs to fix makes them fear her potential, and the speed at which she will likely fix it, even more. There is a final, compelling dimension to Alex Eala's story that adds a unique pressure, a factor that could either forge her into an indomitable force or weigh her down with expectation. She is the pride of a nation. Alex Eala is not just a tennis player, she is a phenomenon in the Philippines, a country of over 110 million people that has embraced her with an intensity not seen since the era of Manny Pacquiao. The weight of expectation is a phrase often used in sports, but for Eala, it carries the hopes of her entire country. The tennis elites, who are primarily focused on the technical and tactical aspects of the game, are now facing a player whose motivation is fueled by something far more profound: national pride. The scenes at Wimbledon were telling. Queues snaked around the grounds to get into her matches. Watch parties filled arenas back home. Senator Mark Viller filed a resolution commending her historic achievements, calling her an influential unifier of a deeply divided nation. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. heaped lavish praise on her after her victory over Swiatek. This is not just a player hitting a ball, she is a symbol of Filipino excellence on the world stage. This immense nation's pride can create a unique pressure, but for Eala, it seems to be a source of strength. When asked about her victory, she dedicated it to her younger self and to all the girls with ruffled socks and chubby cheeks, a statement that resonated with her massive Filipino fanbase. This star power, arguably outweighing her career achievements for now, has a fascinating tactical effect on the sport itself. Her presence is a draw. She is on tournament posters alongside the likes of Naomi Osaka and Venus Williams. She is slated as the star turn of the WTA 500 Singapore Open. This gives her leverage and a level of respect from tournament organizers that can translate into better scheduling, more center court appearances, and even wild card entries into prestigious events. The tennis elites see a player who is not just a competitor but a box office attraction, a player whose matches are crowd and eyeball drawers. This status also adds a layer of pressure on her opponents. They are not just playing Alex Eala, they are playing against the backdrop of a fervent, global fan base. This is a psychological test that Eala handles with remarkable grace. As The Guardian notes, her popularity skyrocketed, and her fans are just as important as her own talent. She has become everyone's favorite new arrival. The tennis elites are scared because they understand that they are not just facing a rising star, they are facing a cultural icon whose every victory is a moment of national celebration. The motivation and resilience that comes from that level of support is an intangible but incredibly powerful weapon, one that makes her even more difficult to defeat and far more likely to achieve the greatness that everyone now expects of her.